Hello everybody, and welcome back to Nefarious TV. Today we are looking at a case about a woman that suffered from mental illness and murdered an innocent 33-year-old mother who was a complete stranger. This story was brought to me by one of my viewers named Necrosynthetic, who happens to be from around the same area that this incident took place. So thank you to Necro for sharing it. And guys, I just want to give a brief warning. This is about a true crime and features content that some of you may find disturbing. So with all of that being said, let's take a look at Holly M. Colino. All too often, when we talk about mental illness like paranoid schizophrenia, many people immediately associate the illness with serial killers. With TV shows like CSI and Criminal Minds constantly profiling killers as schizophrenic, it's easy to understand where the stereotype comes from. Many people assume that everyone with schizophrenia has voices in their head that are constantly telling them to kill the first person they come into contact with. This simply isn't the case. Pulling data from 7 studies done in 4 countries shows that the odds of someone with paranoid schizophrenia killing a stranger is 1 in 14 million per year. The numbers are even lower for those that are being treated with antipsychotics. We have a fascination with the things that scare us, especially if we don't quite understand them. The idea of not being in control of our own thoughts, to become prisoners within our own minds, these are some of the scariest. What we don't always consider, in the cases of murder that do involve someone with an extreme mental illness, is how equally tragic it can be for the killer and their families. Sometimes they are just as much of a victim. August 25th, 2017. Megan Dix, a 33-year-old wife and mother from Lyndonville, was shot and killed in broad daylight. Megan was sitting in her car at a small park near her work in Brockport, where she often ate lunch so she could watch the deer during her lunch break. Though she was minding her own business, Megan was approached by Holly Colino, who began firing on her just moments after approaching the vehicle. Megan Dix didn't make it. Holly then fled and managed to evade police for 3 days before being captured in Brockport behind a Wendy's. She confessed to murdering Megan just hours after being captured by police. But why would she do it? Holly Colino grew up in Rochester, New York as an only child, being solely raised by her father. According to one of her childhood best friends, Holly had a rough upbringing. Her mom wasn't in the picture at all, and her dad deprived her of attention and sometimes even basic necessities like food and clothing. However, Holly was still a sweet and kind-hearted child, with lots of friends and good grades. But what happened in her life that led her down the path of murder? Around 2010, Holly moved from Rochester, New York to Phoenix, Arizona, in order to, as she put it, pursue a case. Doing some research into this case she is talking about reveals that Holly wholeheartedly believed that someone in Arizona was trying to steal her identity. But the more we go down the rabbit hole of Holly Colino's mind, the more intense this delusion becomes. To this day, you can find a LinkedIn profile, Facebook profile, and a YouTube channel for Holly Colino. Going through each account becomes increasingly more disturbing. She created her LinkedIn around the same time that she left for Arizona. There isn't much on there, but we can see that Holly describes herself as a fraud investigator. Underneath, we can also find this descriptor. Remember, this profile was created well before the murder took place. My guess is that Holly created this page to try and legitimize herself and have a place to point to online that describes her as an investigator. It's an ominous and disturbing piece of evidence that lays groundwork for the rest of this case. This brings us to Holly's Facebook page, which truly begins to put things into perspective. The earliest post we can find on her Facebook page is from May 25th, 2017. In this post, she links us to an article written by ABC 15 about a man that impersonated a police officer in Phoenix in order to get away with theft and harassment. Holly's posts are extremely difficult to understand, being written in a way that I believe she thinks looks professional. She cites the article and claims to have been targeted by the same impersonator, accusing them of being so jealous of her superior work that they tried to smear her. It doesn't make much sense, but continuing on through her profile starts to reveal that Holly believes that many, many people are trying to steal her identity for nefarious reasons. There are dozens of posts, all focused on anyone that may resemble Holly in any way, shape, or form, or at least resemble her in her own mind. She even claims that celebrities like Ruby Rose, Adele, and Ariana Grande are all plotting together to steal her identity by changing their appearance. Eventually, Holly would come to believe this about almost anyone she came into contact with that simply dyed their hair or wore similar clothing as her. She even goes so far as to sign her name over the top of every picture of herself, believing this will make it more difficult for criminals to steal her identity. Later, she began using Microsoft Paint to add drawings and textures over some of her images that seemed to start getting worse and worse over time. Some of these altered images are very unsettling. Eventually, while scrolling through her Facebook, we come across some YouTube links that lead us to her channel. Most of these videos revolve around Holly confronting people about copying her look and attempting to steal her identity. She makes a lot of people uncomfortable and some outright scared.
Eyebrows, offender, offender, offender. Yeah.
And she puts these strange text overlays over her videos like this.
She came over right up to my vehicle and just asked for something to beg.
In her mind, these videos are professional documentations of criminal acts being committed against her.
License plates. She's harassing in the second. She doesn't realize I have a license. I'm legal to kill now because nobody wants.
In this video, she even tells a police officer that she works in law enforcement.
Right. But do you understand that why I'm upset? I get bothered and harassed all day by women. Okay, this is like the umpteenth time today I've been offended by a woman.
I'm telling you, police officers.
You're using and smearing me with the word angry, though. I'm being offended right now.
Let me finish my sentence, okay? They call us. We have to come out and see what's going on. That's all.
Yeah, that I understand. I work in the criminal justice field. I get that. But remember, I'm the one being offended by a woman right now. So I'm upset.
Okay, so and you're...
After looking at all three of these profiles, I think it's safe to say that Holly really did believe these delusions. Just the fact that she moved to Arizona to pursue these identity thieves says a lot about her reasoning. Try to consider what it would be like to think everyone around you was trying to steal your life.
Soul's asking me for a cigarette again. Besides all the other harassment I'm getting, the envious woman mimicking my image. Yeah, now they want to turn around like cowards, little bums that want to pull off of me. They don't want to acknowledge me other than to come over and ask a cigarette. Harassment in the second they want to provoke me. Kid, what was that? He flashed some red light on me. Little coward on a skateboard. 19th and Northern. He's a... Oh yeah? Really? That's it. Get over here! Oh, excuse me, sir. Is there a reason so I know, like, I can't get gas here or anything? You let me in the property. So
because you was in one day, you was filming everybody up here.
Okay.
And so they didn't appreciate that you was up here filming people.
Okay. So you guys have cameras and stuff. You can film, but nobody else can film on your property.
I'm just going by what they said.
Okay. Or they want me dead, like what happened back on the 8th of July. Okay? Somewhere where they can come and make it appear to be different. They want it to appear to be what they want, suicide. Because they're inciting me. One's inciting me in particular to come kill her. So, they're trying to kill me. They want me dead. But they want me dead in a place where they can manipulate the way that the death will look to be. So, there actually is something in the DSM, dissociative identity disorder, and that's actually something that's legit because it's clinical. Dissociative identity disorder can be clinically measured. Botox chemicals, hair dye chemicals, and just the fact that they're trying to conceive an image that they do not have. No, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm talking to you, sickness, envy, and jealousy, expression is not image. Expression is body language and communication. It's not image. Okay? It's the act. So what these women are doing, their act is stealing my identity. It's identity theft. And we are running into some problems in the criminal justice industry with this because so many women are mimicking my appearance.
Holly seems to think that almost every woman that she comes into contact with is trying to steal her identity. So what was it about Megan Dix that made her snap? It's unlikely that Holly knew who Megan was before she decided to take her life. And out of everyone that Holly believed was trying to steal her identity, Megan Dix was the farthest from Holly's appearance. I think it just shows the rapid decline of Holly's mental state and how it only got worse in the final weeks before the shooting. These are some of Holly's sketches. Just days before the murder, Holly got caught on CCTV pulling a gun on someone else outside of a restaurant. The video shows Holly confront this person in the restaurant parking lot and begin a screaming match before pulling a loaded .38 and waving it in their face. I'm not sure why she decided not to go through with it, but thankfully she did not pull the trigger. I found a post from Reddit user u/Skylint22 who came face to face with Holly only a couple of days before the shooting. They describe her behavior as both erratic and confrontational. She yelled at them from her car and accused Skylint22 of trying to steal her identity simply just because her hair was dyed blonde. It just shows that in the last week before the murder, Holly had almost completely lost any remnants of rational thought. The police were able to connect Holly to the murder by discovering some graffiti on a bridge that said, "Holly M. Colino can kill." This, along with several other graffiti messages, were spray painted on different buildings and structures. Unfortunately, the "Holly can kill" message was the only one that we don't have a photograph of. After the arrest was made, Holly managed to escape police custody, but was recaptured only a couple of hours after the escape. Detectives interviewed her and got a full confession. She was charged with second-degree murder and criminal possession of a deadly weapon. After the discovery of Holly's YouTube channel and Facebook profile, her lawyer argued that Holly was mentally ill and not fit to stand trial. She was appointed 2 state psychologists to examine and determine if she would be fit for trial. Holly was sent to a facility to undergo treatment for several months until eventually, after making a lot of progress, her doctors declared her competent. Holly pleaded guilty to all charges and is likely to spend the rest of her life in a secure mental facility. There is no doubt that this case is unbelievably sad, and it's hard to imagine how difficult it has been for Megan's family. It's also hard to determine what issues Holly may have been dealing with aside from her mental health. The research and statistics we have show us that schizophrenia is a rare characteristic for killers to have. Most often, people that are diagnosed with schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder operate more in fear rather than malice. First and foremost, they want to protect themselves and may feel like everyone is out to hurt or exploit them in some way. Or they may feel compelled to right some enormous wrong that continuously eats away at them. Fear is a powerful motivator for anyone, but those that are afflicted by these disorders are much more susceptible to its power. Aggression is often a product of fear, and it's easy to see that Holly was afraid. Afraid she couldn't trust anyone and that so many people were actively trying to steal her life. It truly is a sad and unfortunate situation, but does this absolve Holly from her crimes? I don't think we can answer that question without knowing more about Holly's life, but it doesn't matter. The point is, Holly was clearly suffering from severe delusions caused by schizoaffective disorder, and we can see the type of effects that it had on her everyday thinking. She committed an evil act, but things aren't always so black and white. What we know for sure is that Megan Dix left behind a husband and child, and it's easy to see that she touched the lives of everyone she knew. What happened to her is unthinkable, and my heart goes out to her and anyone that was affected. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you think I earned it, please consider subscribing. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of the new content that I have coming out in the next few weeks. So thank you all for being patient with me. I am back now and have some really big stuff planned, so stay tuned. If you want to get more involved in the community, or you have a submission, I want to invite you all to my subreddit, r/Nefarious TV. I will post the link in the description. And before I go, I also want to introduce you to one of my amazing friends, Penny Tailsup, who I've been working with producing a series over on her channel.
Penny here. As you might have heard, Neff and I have been collaborating on the Lily Mad Whip series by William Dalphin. We premiere new parts most Saturdays, schedules permitting. Lily Mad Whip is about a little girl who sees things before they happen. I voiced Lily, but you probably won't recognize my voice thanks to Neff's editing magic. He produces the series and also voices a couple characters. We're going for more of an audio drama feel, with different narrators voice acting other characters. To add to the experience, I create original speed paints and light animations with each installment. It's a lot of fun, and I really hope you guys check it out. The next part is airing soon, with Dr. Creepin joining the cast. See you there!